Have you ever wondered when something was going to pop, right? Like, you can't tell, right? Well, we're going to compare Hex coin versus Terra Luna's coin and see which one has more activity around it using social cues. Nobody else is doing this. We're going to take a look at their website and see which website ranks higher. We're going to take a look at Google search volume. We're going to take a look at YouTube search volume, take a look at hashtags on Instagram and on Twitter, and we're going to take a look at the YouTube views for content related to each one of these coins. Shit that nobody else is doing. That's how you get insights that nobody else has. So, with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to freaking see you. By the way, if you're returning, I don't know why you haven't subscribed yet. So why Terra Luna and Hex? Well, let me show you. So this is CoinMarketCap.com, right? We've got these coins based upon market cap. If we come down here to number 9, this is Terra Luna, right? Market cap of 26 billion. But we don't see Hex here, even though if we come up to the top and we search for Hex, we get to see a market cap of 26 billion. Okay, so we see a market cap of 26 billion for Hex here, 26.7. And then we come over here and we go to number 9, Luna, and this is 26.7 roughly. So we have two coins that almost have the same market cap, but that doesn't necessarily say much, right? And this is, you get to see that Hex is not on this list. So there's a lot of people that use CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, or several other sites to take a look at this. Most of the sites are not even ranking Hex, even though they've got a 26-ish billion market cap. So let's get into the first one here. I'm going to just show you how I got the data, and then I compiled it, and we're going to take a look at this in a moment, right? So if we take the Terra Luna's website and we bring it over to a site, this is called Alexa. This is, yes, it's an Amazon company, and they basically just rank websites. So they have a data analytics and they share that, and you can pay for a subscription and stuff, but there's the free option here, which allows you to see how the site that you put in ranks relative to all the other sites that are tracked on Alexa. So this right here is the world ranking for Luna's website based upon traffic, page views, time on the page, etc. Where in the United States, they're at 5,300. So we get to see that Luna is actually more popular outside the United States. When we do the same thing for Hex, we see a little bit different story. We see in the United States, it's 6,500th. So not as popular as Luna in the United States, and a lot less popular than Luna internationally, right? 16,000th roughly versus 4,500th roughly globally. So that's the first thing that we're going to compile and put into there. The next is we search for Luna crypto. So I put the word crypto in there to reduce the noise, right? Luna could be a lot of different things, and it is a lot of different things. So we wanted to reduce the noise associated with it. And in this search here, we filtered it. So we did in the last hour videos, right? We wanted to see what was actually out there in terms of the activity around this. Like, how active is the community around each one of these? So we only counted things, you can see there's only 3 here, but this top one here is like a video game, right? So we didn't, actually I think this is, I thought it was a video game, but it's eLuna Rush, so it might be the cryptocurrency, I think. I'm not exactly sure. You can let me know down below in the comments. I did not count this one, but it actually could be Luna, so I can add that at the end when we get there. Another one that we actually searched for was, let's see, take this off. We did video, so we did Hex Crypto, video, and then by view count. So this gives us a different information, right? Like this top one doesn't have anything related to Hex, so we don't count those. We're just looking at this number right here. See how this says 1,000 views, right? This one here has 444,000 views. So we only use ones that are relevant to the actual coin. So we've got how active is the community here, and how active are people actually consuming this content? Like, because this we know is not necessarily a good gauge based upon the data that CoinMarketCap actually puts forth, right? And if we want to understand how things might be moving in the future from a price standpoint, right, it would be probably a good idea to understand what the community, like globally, is doing around each one of these. The next is we came over to Instagram, and if you put in hashtag Luna Crypto or hashtag Luna Coin, or the same thing for Hex, it will come up, because if you put in Luna, it comes up with a bunch of bull, right? And if you put in Hex by itself, it also comes up with a bunch of other stuff, nothing related. So you've got to narrow it down to weed out all the noise. And we take the total number, right? For Luna Crypto, this is 281 posts. But Twitter is more active with crypto stuff, which seems to be more active than with crypto stuff. So we do the same thing over here, right? We put in Luna, and then you get to see over the last hour there was 70 tweets with hashtag Luna. And then if you do the same thing for Hex, you get that over the last hour. We put those into a spreadsheet to compare them. Then the last one here, this is the two largest search engines in the world, YouTube and Google. Obviously, they're both owned by Alphabet, but these are the two largest search engines in the world. And we put in Luna Crypto and Hex Crypto, again, to reduce the noise. And we took a look at worldwide over the last 12 months, over the last 90 days, and over the last 30 days of search volume for each one of these terms on the web and then on YouTube. And it's pretty interesting. So let's take a look at all that data. So this is the first one we're going to take a look at, right? Remember, this is the searches for Luna Crypto on YouTube. All right, we're searching for this and then we're filtering it. So this is the number of views in thousands, right? So we've got 2.2 million views of the top 10. So I took the searches like this with the number of views, and I added up the top 10 videos that were actually relevant, right? So this Dave Portnoy video that doesn't have anything to do with Hex, I did not include that. If there's another video that doesn't have to do with Hex, I also did not include that. The same thing with Luna here. So we have two videos. If you look in the comments and this is actually related to Luna, the cryptocurrency, you can let me know down below in the comments. But I only included two videos. So there's two people who released a video in the last 30 days, in the last 60 minutes related to Luna. And there were 7 related to Hex. So the Hex community is putting out more content. So over the long run, that's going to be beneficial. If you look at the top 10 videos by views, Luna has more video views around the videos that they're publishing. So on the one hand, the community is more active with Hex. However, they're not getting as many views, at least in the top 10. We have no idea. I'm only talking about the mass, like that center portion of data. The tails could be way fatter for Hex than they are on Luna. And go on, the long tail could be substantially bigger. So this one, Luna would win in terms of activity, and then over here, Hex would win. When we come to Alexa, we did the United States ranking and the world ranking. So in both of those cases, Luna wins across the board. And what we actually found kind of interesting is that Hex, right, is kind of close, right? It's off by 800 spots or 1,000 spots, or 1,200 spots or something, right, for the United States ranking. But it's off by 11,000 spots internationally. And when we take a look at the search volume or the Google Trends data, that's going to be very interesting because I'm going to point out something when you look at the United States. So in this category, Luna is the winner across the board. This one here was kind of a tie. On Instagram, remember we looked at hashtag coin, Luna Coin and hashtag Luna Crypto. Here, Luna wins for Luna Coin, and here Hex wins for Hex Crypto. So again, we have kind of a tie here across the board. Although if we look at the aggregate number of hashtags that were used, we've got like 2,400 and change versus 800 and change. So there's, again, when we look at the community, right, because these hashtags are going to be community, people in the community are using these hashtags. And if we look at this first one as an idea as very basic, right, it's only 7 data points, but we get to see that the community is more active for Hex, and that also holds up for Instagram. The community is more active, 800 versus about 2,500 hashtags used on Instagram for these. These are the number of times that it was actually used. On Twitter, Luna actually has more usage over the last hour. So this is just like a snapshot. It's not an aggregate, right? Like these tell a much longer story here, where this is like what's happening right fucking now, because it's only an hour worth of data. So it's not necessarily as valuable, but we don't have as much of the information, right? They don't just share that, at least as far as I'm aware, on Twitter. So we just have to use the data that is available to us. And here we can see that Luna wins. Now on Google Trends, and when we look at web search, right? Because you've got web search and then you have YouTube search. Here we get to see, let's go back to this. It's probably easier to actually look at this chart. We get to see that this is Luna Crypto and Hex Crypto. This is the search term worldwide, 12 months on the web. And we get to see that Luna looks like it's got a nice trajectory. Like it's up and to the right slightly, where Hex had this peak in September of 2021, and it's been kind of trending down since then slightly. So we'll see how that continues over the 90-day period. When we look at the 90-day period, again, we don't see much activity from Hex Crypto. It's pretty level, but about the 45 days through here, it does look like it ticks a little bit lower, just ever so slightly. And you can tell that by this, hopefully you guys can see this, this gray line here. It's at the 25 mark. This period here, there's more touches to the gray line. And this half here, there's less touches to the gray line or penetrations, where Luna Crypto is above it, but they're less popular over the last 90 days versus the first 90 days. And then to understand more recently, this is just over the last 30 days, we do see a dip for Luna, but Hex is just kind of like sitting there, not doing much. But when we take a look at YouTube search in the United States, it's actually super interesting, which we'll do after we look at the global stuff. So globally on YouTube, remember how if we look at here, we have, this is the percentage of the total maximum search volume for Luna. They're at 35%, 38%, and 50% of the total search volume. So that peak search volume, and this is the number that is presented in the searches. Luna is more popular and it's gaining in popularity. Hex is not nearly as popular from a search web standpoint. But when we go to Google from a global view, we get to see that the race is a lot closer in terms of there's several periods of time where Hex actually spikes above it. Now, remember, Hex is the quote like underdog, because if you look at these ranking sites by market cap where a lot of people go to find information, they have the same market cap, but Hex is not here. So to have Hex win or be even close in many of these things is a good sign, in my opinion. Now let's take a look here. So we got that's over the last 12 months. Over the last 90 days, it's more dominated by Luna. Over the last 30 days, Luna, we saw a tick down in Luna on the web search as well as on YouTube search. So that's kind of interesting. Hex has just been kind of holding steady most of the time. When we look at the last 12 months, I don't see any, there's still an uptick trend for search volume on Luna, just like there is on the web. And we don't see that kind of trending down. Like we don't see less search volume, at least the degree of less search volume on Hex like we did in the web. See, here's the peak for Hex in red, and we get to see it tapers down, but then it kind of levels off. Versus when we look at the web search for this, we see the peak is here, and then it tapers down, and it continues to taper down slightly for the next several months, where that doesn't hold up when we come to YouTube search. But I want to show you something here. Remember when we looked at Alexa, and we saw how their websites were actually doing, right? That's this one right here. We get to see that Luna performs better in the United States and better globally. Their website does, in terms of the factors that are in it for Alexa here. Well, check this out. So this is the search volume on YouTube. This is the search volume on YouTube over the last 12 months in the United States, right? Because you can present data in any sort of way to like kind of tell a story, right? Well, this is just in the United States, so these things are global projects, but I do find this interesting. When we look at search volume, Hex over the last 12 months is trending up, right? If we start over here and we end over here, there's definitely a trend upwards. Where Luna, you could say it's kind of slightly maybe trending up because there's more spikes here in the blue than there is in like at the beginning, right in the first half here over the last 12 months. The first 6 months, there's not much search interest for Luna. In the second 6 months, there's more search. However, with Hex, it's just a steady kind of like increase slightly over time. And when you look at the web for the United States, we also see this as Hex being ahead. So this is kind of interesting. This is Hex Crypto and Hex Luna Crypto. I'm sorry, this is Luna Crypto and Hex Crypto searches on the web. Yet the site here are ranked very similar, but they're off by about 1,200. Like Hex's website is not quite as popular as Luna's website, but when you come to search volume, there's actually more search volume in the United States over the last 12 months for Hex than there is Luna. And that's with the handicap of not being ranked, right? I think CoinGecko is another site that does this. And you get to see, here we go, right? It's not on here as well, right? We don't see Hex on here too, right? And these are sites where people go to get information, and they're just missing information. You can also search over here for Hex, and you'll see the same thing. Market cap of around 26 billion, right? I don't know where they put the market cap here. Oh, they don't even have a market cap over here for Hex in terms of listing it at all. So this is kind of interesting. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this style of analysis. From this data, Luna is definitely more popular, definitely has more awareness globally. I didn't see any really big trends necessarily with Luna. The only thing that I noticed with Hex is that over time, obviously it's more popular in the United States when we look at search volume for YouTube and Google. Like on YouTube, there's definitely a trend up. And I think what could be driving that is this number right here, these numbers here, and if we had more data over here. The community, when you're looking at data that's related to, say, community driven, right? The number of videos published over the last 60 minutes, there were 7 videos published with Hex. There was 2 for Luna, 3 if you count that other video, which I'm not sure about, right? So double or more than triple the amount of content for Hex versus Luna on YouTube. Instagram, again, you have 800 hashtag usages for Luna versus 2,400 and change, right? So what is that, 3 times as much on Instagram? And then on Twitter, That's a snapshot. So if we can get a longer term data point for Twitter, I think that would be far more valuable. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts on this. I do think that this is going to, if this community around Hex in terms of how much is publishing content on YouTube, how much it's posting on Instagram, and how much is getting talked about on Twitter continues, that will definitely affect these numbers over here and drive these numbers here as well. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down below in the comments. If you found this video interesting and insightful, nobody else is fucking doing this, take a second, share this video with somebody else. You can follow along on Twitter too, or on Instagram if you like fitness related content. Appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.